Hello, everyone. My name is Stuart Teicher, and welcome to the Good Lawyers Gone Bad podcast. This podcast is really picking up steam. I got a lot of people who are listening. It's wonderful. I hope you're enjoying it. If you want to give me some feedback, please go to goodlawyersgonebad.com. In the Contact Us section, send me a message. It's going to come right to my email. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you like the program, it would be wonderful if you could like it, share it, rate it on your various podcasting platforms, leave a review. All of that stuff helps the algorithms recognize the podcast, and it'll get more viewers. So if you'd like to subscribe, rate, or review, that would be fantastic. Today, we have a bit of a mini episode, a little bit of a shorter story than normal, and it's once again not true lawyer crime, but true lawyer slime. Enjoy this story entitled, If You Can't Beat 'Em, Cheat 'Em. Your life today is different than it was before COVID, right? I mean, the way we conduct everyday life has changed. We don't go to restaurants anymore. Instead, we pay an app $50 to deliver a $5 burger to our homes. And all of our deliveries are contactless. Things are left on our doorstep by anonymous drivers, or they're dropped off on our stoop by newfangled drones which notify us that the package was delivered by email. Everything is virtual. Our very existence is being pushed into a virtual world as well. Tech companies are encouraging us to buy their VR goggles so we can live in the metaverses. You know, if we play our cards right, we may never have to see another human being face to face ever again. Right now, all of you introverts out there are thinking, oh my God, if only. COVID changed everything, including the practice of law. We did things as lawyers during COVID that would have been unheard of beforehand. And a lot of things have continued to be different even after the pandemic. Take, for instance, depositions. A deposition is basically when a lawyer interviews someone to get information from them. It's part of the process that's called discovery. That's when one side in a lawsuit asks another side in a lawsuit for all of the information they'll be using at trial. That's how the system works in the United States. We have full disclosure. Did you ever see My Cousin Vinny? Remember that movie? You remember the part where Vinny is so happy that he convinced the prosecutor to show him his file? And he gets back, and his fiancée, Mona Lisa Vito, she chastises Vinny, telling him, they have to give you the file. It's called discovery. Well, depositions are part of that whole discovery thing. I think I actually need to reframe how I describe a deposition, because I don't think I really characterized it properly. Simply calling it an interview makes it seem far more informal than it really is. These are serious events that are done under oath. And if you happen to be an adverse party, the lawyer questioning you isn't going to be interviewing you as much as they're going to be interrogating you. But regardless of whether the lawyer doing the questioning is treating you with kid gloves or boxing gloves, it's all done under oath, and the testimony that's given at a deposition could be used later at trial. In the pre-COVID world, depositions were done face-to-face. Usually they'd be done in the conference room of one of the lawyers who were involved in the case. The lawyers for both parties would be present, the clients would be there, and so would the witnesses. There'd also be a court reporter in the room who would set up their funky stenographer machine, and they'd memorialize everything being said during the proceeding. Of course, every once in a while, in a pre-COVID world, those depositions would need to be done by video. Yeah, that happened at times. But conducting a deposition remotely in the days before the pandemic was very much the exception, not the norm. Well, as we all know, COVID changed everything. We were all forced to get on board with Zoom. When the platform was first integrated in the practice of law, we were all trying to figure out how to use it. Okay, wait, this thing has a camera? Oh, but you can only see me from the waist up. So what you're telling me is that I never have to wear pants again? Sweet! A lawyer was representing an employer in a workers' compensation case. That kind of case is basically a fight between someone who was injured on the job who wants to collect money and an insurance company who doesn't want to pay them that money. And who makes the decision about whether the insurance company pays out? An insurance adjuster. So that means the adjuster is probably going to need to be deposed as part of the case. And that's what happened here. The insurance adjuster who worked for the employer's insurance company was being deposed. The problem is the deposition had to be done remotely. But this was before COVID. There was no Zoom. I mean, Zoom existed, but it wasn't integrated into the practice of law yet. Video conferencing of this type was pretty much out of the ordinary. So, in what was a highly unusual situation for a deposition, it was done by telephone. Yeah, that's right. This deposition was done by telephone. Even the lawyers out there who are listening, who've used video conferencing in the past, who, by the way, a second ago were going, "What are you talking about? It's an exception. We use video all the time." Yeah, most people didn't. But even those lawyers are saying, telephone? Seriously? Yeah. Everybody's using a telephone, and quite frankly, that's unheard of. You had the witness, who's the insurance adjuster. You had both lawyers. You even had the court reporter all on the telephone during this deposition. Incidentally, the poor court reporter seemed so confused by the unorthodox arrangement that they didn't even swear in the witnesses. This had the makings of being a real mess. I remember watching a nervous witness get cross-examined at a deposition once. It was painful. The lawyer was pressuring him, forcing him to answer uncomfortable questions. Meanwhile, the witness is trying really hard not to give any damning information, and they were both working at it. Things got really heated, and the interrogating lawyer really started to tear into this witness. Even watching it was exhausting. It was like watching a bullfight. Eventually, the witness got flustered. He started to sweat. He started to stammer. He forgot what he was talking about. And the only person I felt more terrible for was his lawyer. Not the interrogating lawyer. The lawyer for that witness. As a lawyer, there's nothing more agonizing than sitting by watching your witness flounder. It's incredibly frustrating because there's nothing you can do about it. You can't help them. Lawyers at depositions are like tennis coaches during a match. You train your player ahead of time, but when it comes time for the match, you've just got to sit quietly and watch. As a lawyer, the most you can do is to try to prepare the witness for the testimony beforehand. You can tell them what to expect, you can discuss the types of questions they'll probably be asked, but that's pretty much it. Once the deposition starts, they're on their own. And like a tennis coach, if your player falls apart on the court, you have no choice but to sit and watch it unfold. As a lawyer, it's infuriating to be forced to sit idly by while a witness wilts under the harsh light of a deposition and destroys your case. The only way to make it worse is to have to do it by telephone.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The whole telephone thing adds an extra layer of headache for both lawyers. If you're the one doing the questioning, you don't know when to press the witness. You don't know when to let off. You can't see how the person's reacting to your questions. You can't tell if they look confident or if they look like they're getting rattled. If you're the person defending the deposition, meaning that it's your client or your witness that's being interrogated by the other lawyer, you're also at a disadvantage. Look, we already established that you can't coach your witness while they testify. But you sort of can a little, right? I mean, the witness can see you, so they can feed off your body language. You can give them little hints here and there, and as long as you keep it subtle and don't raise suspicion, maybe you can get away with it. But on the phone, none of that's possible. So as the phone deposition got underway, the lawyer started to grill the adjuster. When you read the transcript of the deposition, you can tell that the exchange between the lawyer and witness was tense and uncomfortable. I'm guessing that at some point, the opposing lawyer could feel the case slipping away. And that's what happens sometimes in the law. He probably prepared his witness. He probably got them as ready as they could be for a deposition. But sometimes whatever you do isn't enough. You know, when you think about it, lawsuits are really a lot like gambling. You could feel pretty confident about your case. You could have a lot of trial experience. You could know the rules of play inside and out, and you can prepare your witness immensely. But you never know what's going to happen when you roll those dice. But, like in gambling, there is a way to ensure that you win in litigation. Cheat. Oh yeah, fix the game. Count cards. Peek at your opponent's hand. Take a page out of the Ocean's 11 movie and send part of your crew to Mexico to clandestinely mix secret chemicals into dice during the manufacturing process so you can use a remote control to flip those dice when they're used weeks later on a craps table and get them to tumble onto the numbers that you want. Or was that Ocean's 12? 13? Whatever. The point is, you can fix the game. The questioning of the insurance adjuster continued. The lawyer was trying to pin the witness into a corner, but the witness was bobbing and weaving. It seems that there was some issue about a previous deposition of some sort that they were discussing, and the lawyer was hammering on the adjuster about the details of that other deposition. They were surely trying to get her to expose some sort of damaging fact. But as the lawyer was trying to rattle the witness, he was getting rattled himself. There was an annoying noise on the phone that was bothering the lawyer asking questions. Every time he asked a question, there was a sound that came through the phone. It probably initially sounded like static. Regardless, the lawyer continued. The lawyer was asking the witness all kinds of questions about that other deposition that was a key part of the case. He was asking about the timing of the deposition. He asked what was discussed at that other deposition. The witness was providing answers, but they seemed to have been evasive. An evasive witness would have been enough of a headache, but compound that with the distracting sound that the lawyer was hearing, it must have been infuriating. After listening a little harder, the lawyer probably realized that the sound in the background was not static. It was actually some sort of clicking. Yeah, it's clicking. Sort of like a keyboard. Like typing on a keyboard, that sort of thing. The lawyer must have thought, that's odd. Every time I ask a question, I hear a keyboard clicking. Despite the weird noise, the lawyer continued. The questioning went on for over an hour, but so did the clicking. At some point, the interrogating lawyer had a revelation. Wait a minute. Can this really be a coincidence? I ask a question, then there's clicking, then I get an answer. That's when the lawyer had a light bulb go off. We're all on the telephone. We can't see each other. Is the other lawyer sending messages to this witness? The lawyer doing the questioning must have doubted himself. There's no way that can be happening, is there? He got back to questioning. The clicking continued. At some point, it seems to have gotten to be too much, and the lawyer confronted his adversary. He said something like, "Hey, I hear typing coming out of the phone. Are you texting each other during this deposition?" The other lawyer immediately denied it. The only problem was, that was a lie. The truth is, that was exactly what the other lawyer was doing. The other lawyer was texting the witness. He was providing the answers for the questions being asked in real time. Minute after minute, question after question. When the interrogating lawyer asked the witness whether she remembered a particular deposition, the witness got a text instructing her to say, "You don't." When the interrogating lawyer pushed her on the topic, the witness got a text instructing her to say, "You remember the deposition, but not discussing checks." The texting lawyer even coached the adjuster about how to develop answers, telling her things like, "Just review the notes." He even inquired about whether the witness needed to rest. At one point, he asked whether she wanted to take a break in 15 minutes. As far as the interrogating lawyer was concerned, it sure seemed like the lawyer was texting the witness. The clicking sounds on the keyboard were clear. The timing could not have been a coincidence. So he pressed his adversary. He asked him again, "Are you sure you're not texting the witness?" The other lawyer clearly realized that they were caught, but he was not about to admit it. Yes, I was texting, he acknowledged, but I was texting my daughter. The opposing lawyer probably didn't believe him, but what could he do? He couldn't prove anything. So he simply asked him to stop texting. The questioning continued, and the coaching continued. The scam was moving along seamlessly. And it was surely all because of the fact that the deposition was done by phone. No one could see what the other lawyer was doing. No one could see that he was typing. No one could see the witness looking at their texts. At some point, the witness stopped giving the answers provided by the texting lawyer. Why? Maybe the witness got spooked. Maybe when the interrogating lawyer accused him of cheating, the witness was scared straight. That could be the reason. The interrogating lawyer, however, couldn't devote much of his attention to that question because he was faced with yet another distraction. Now, his own cell phone was making noise. He must have thought, who on earth could be texting me in the middle of a deposition? He checked his texts and was astounded to learn the answer. The cheating lawyer had been accidentally sending all of the recent coaching texts to the interrogating lawyer instead of the witness. The texts were telling the witness what to say. He instructed, just say March 28th. The texts were telling the witness to be evasive. He instructed, don't give an absolute answer. At one point, he even turned into Admiral Akbar from Star Wars, warning the witness, it's a trap. When the interrogating lawyer saw all of this, he immediately stopped the deposition, and very soon thereafter, he filed a motion with the court demanding that the judge review all these texts. When the offending lawyer was confronted with what happened, he threw a whole lot of defenses up against the wall, I guess hoping that one would stick. First, the lawyer repeated his claim that he was texting his daughter. But when the court demanded that he provide copies of the texts from his daughter, he didn't produce anything. Okay, that didn't work. So the lawyer tried a second excuse. He gave what I call the Ross from Friends defense. We were on a break. Yeah, the lawyer admitted that he texted the witness, but he claimed that the texts were not sent during the depositions. Rather, they were sent while they were on a break. Yeah, the judge didn't buy it. Finally, when all that didn't work, he tried what I call the superhero defense. Oh, the poor witness. He needed to protect her. He claimed that he felt compelled to aid his witness during the deposition because the interrogating lawyer was constantly talking over her answers or interrupting with objections, and he felt the need to help this witness who was being mistreated. Strike three. The Florida disciplinary referee recommended to the Florida Supreme Court that the lawyer be found guilty of professional misconduct and suspended for 30 days. The Supreme Court was in agreement, sort of. It seems that they were particularly angry about this matter. The court found that the lawyer obstructed the other party's access to evidence when he secretly coached the insurance adjuster while she was being questioned, telling her how to answer questions and directing her to avoid providing certain information. The court found that the conduct continued even after he assured the other lawyer that he would stop texting during the deposition. Plus, the court was furious that the lawyer stuck to his story. He repeatedly misrepresented that he didn't send text messages to the witness during the deposition. And maybe worst of all, the court found it particularly egregious that the lawyer lied to the judge when asked about the messages. In the end, the court upheld the disciplinary committee's finding of misconduct, but they rejected the recommendation of a 30-day suspension. Instead, they took away the lawyer's license for 3 months. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you will please remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review on your various podcast platforms. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of your day.